Commission on Integration. We'll be getting more details on that particular story. Well, like I told you, today we'll be speaking to one of the candidates that will be running under the Jubilee Party, and that is the Deputy Governor Mtarajiwa. And he is with us this afternoon. That is Polycarp Igathe, not a new face to many, but we'll be just taking a look at his profile. Where has he served in the past? And Polycarp, allow me to invite you to our Super World to just walk you through.
Very well.
And see where did you start from and what you have to offer for the people of Nairobi.
Excellent.
Just be on that end.
Thank you.
So we want to quickly run through the profile around Polycarp Igathe. Many know him as one of the big minds in the corporate world. And of course, now we want to walk you through his CV, if I may say so. So Polycarp Igathe is now going to be Sonko's running mate and the Jubilee Party in the Nairobi gubernatorial race. Well, Polycarp, let's go to the next slide where we'll allow you to perhaps walk us through some of the aspects you've been able to achieve. Feel free to walk us through this.
Okay, past 5 years I've been MD Vivo Energy, which is the company behind Shell. Joined them in 2013 in February. Mm-hmm. Took the company from number 3 to number 1 in the market. Mm-hmm. Formerly Executive Director or Managing Director of Hako Industries. Actually, it's called Hako Tiger Brands because we sold it out to Tiger Brands of South Africa together with Chairman Chris Kirubi. Was there for 10 years. Took it from a family business to a global multinational with footprint across East Africa. Then I was former chair of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. I served as vice chairman 2 years, chairman 2 years, and it was during my tenure that we built the headquarters of KM in Nairobi. So that's me. And I've served in very many boards as an executive director. And 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, when I started to think of politics, I started to withdraw. I've served on Mercantile. I was the board that actually asked the former MD of Uchumi to step down. I came into that board. I've served on very many boards.
So there's also some controversy around Polycarp Igathe, if you didn't know. Well, he was involved in gun drama with nominated Senator Paul Njoroge, Nairobi-Naivasha Highway. I think we have that photo there. Well, quite a memorable moment for many Kenyans, including yourself. Yeah. How does this impact on your political career?
This picture here reminds me of Psalm 91, that truly God is my refuge and my fortress. Because as an innocent citizen serving my job, and I was attacked with a gun. I forgave the senator. And I think I came into the national limelight. I would wish I would come to the national limelight in a different way. But I'm very happy to serve God now.
Do you think this incident emboldened you to now want to come into politics, or it's just a coincidence?
You know, you ask a very good question. Actually, I thought it was the loudest voice from God that I should go and serve him and serve his people.
Interesting. Well, we want to take this hot seat now, and we want to engage Polycarp further, just to pick his mind on what they plan to deliver for the people of Nairobi as they put on this ticket with Nairobi Senator Mike Sonko. Of course, Polycarp Igathe, Nairobi is one of the hot seats in the country, being the capital city, controlling a sizable number of the GDP. Close to 40% of the GDP is based here in Nairobi. Just take us through the agenda that Sonko Igathe team will be executing as and when you take over power.
Thank you very much. Nairobi is 60% of our GDP. It cannot be left to chance. It is too important to just be left to politicians. You need technocrats to be on the ticket to serve in Nairobi. And that's why I want the infusion of the power of Article 1 of the Kenyan Constitution to get an elected office in Nairobi. And I'm very proud to be running mate to Mike Sonko.
But when you say deputy governor doesn't do much?
5 things before we go into that. The agenda.
Correct.
Effective service delivery. The population today is 4 million. In 2030, we're going to be 5.5 million. There's a strain on public health, public education, infrastructure, traffic and congestion. So that's a challenge. What do we want to do? We're looking at ideas, and we have solid promises and commitments to address the traffic and transport challenge of Nairobi. We've got ideas on how to fix the water, sanitation, and garbage challenge of Nairobi. We have ideas and solid promises to fix the jobs and wealth creation challenge in Nairobi. We have ideas and solid promises to fix the public health, safety, and security challenge in Nairobi. And lastly, the issue of youth, women, people with physical disability, and social protection. Those are our agendas. Right. And lastly, to make Nairobi viable. Today, Nairobi is not a going concern. It's actually bankrupt.
Well, I know the county government is owed close to 70 billion by the national government.
Okay.
So before we get to that, the feeling and the perception is that deputy governors are mere flower girls. How true is this, and how do you intend to drive the agenda, yet you have a very overbearing candidate that is in Mike Sonko?
Our ticket is going to prove that deputy governors are not just flower girls. My partnership with Mike Sonko is a partnership between politics and business and commercial acumen. And you need politics, and he's the boss. He's the political driver. Together with, we are calling them Triple S, together with Shebesh and Sakaja, they will drive the Team Nairobi political agenda, together with our MPs, who we've just been meeting this morning, across all constituencies, and together with our 85 county assembly representatives. They'll drive the politics. But the business of Nairobi, the business, as I had enumerated earlier, needs people who are focused on the business. When you have too many politicians, then the job gets forgotten. Yeah.
All right. So, Polycarp, let's now go item by item of the agenda. Of course, one of the big issues that affects the ordinary Nairobian is the question of garbage management. There's also the issue around traffic congestion. And one of the biggest challenges right now is water. What's the game plan on this?
You're right. We are losing 50% of our water, way too much. That is such a high cost. Nairobi is water stressed today. And it begs the question, what does Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company do? We are emitting all our sewer back into Nairobi River, which is a flowing sewer, so that's a challenge. So we want to contain that water loss to the normal global average of less than 20%. And how we are going to do it is by making sure that we monitor and we just bring back effective service delivery. Nairobi County has almost 15,000 employees who are very good people, but who are bottlenecked. And you know, bottlenecks are always at the top of the bottle. That's why we are saying change the leadership, and then we'll be able to use this wonderful talent and acculturate them into a new culture of performance and behavior.
But the reality, Igathe, is as much as Nairobi is water stressed, financially it is also stressed. Looking at the books of accounts, this has been a challenge that has been inherited over different regimes.
I think it's gotten worse since 2013. If you read the latest Kenya National Audit Office report,
yes,
it says only 3 things. That Nairobi is no longer a going concern. In fact, they gave qualified accounts for Nairobi County, which in Mwananchi language means they could not vouch for the propriety of those accounts. That revenue losses in Nairobi, they couldn't even estimate what the revenue losses in Nairobi. Again, I don't know whether you know, we collect a lot of revenue in Nairobi. The problem that it's leaking. There's a lot of revenue leakage. It goes into other pockets. It is the only county.
So it's a question of revenue management.
It's a question of sealing the leakages and making sure that when you pay for parking, actually that money comes to Nairobi. Are you aware that today there's a third party that takes 4.5% of all the parking fees that you park in Nairobi? You pay 300 shillings for parking. It means there's somebody earning 13 shillings, 50 cents per car. Do you know how many cars come to Nairobi in a day? Yeah?
Close to 50,000.
More. I would dare say 150,000 cars. So put that times 13 shillings 50 cents. I'm just talking about parking fees. Revenue in Nairobi today doesn't come straight from there to the government account. It goes through another third-party account called trustee account, held by a very strange third-party partnership.
Yes.
And that third-party person hands over that money, should hand over that money contractually in 72 hours. They pay the Nairobi County after a month. This month alone, employees of Nairobi County earned their salaries 2 weeks in June, after the end of month in May. So you're right. You're very right. So the issue is not, don't distract. This distraction of 72 billion is a distraction. Let's deal with the real issues. And I'm very happy to take, the real issue is you've mismanaged revenue, mismanaged expenditure. We have mismanaged accounting in Nairobi County.
Yes.
If I was national government, I would not even give you a single billion because you're leaking from every corner.
Of course, there's a bloated staff in the equation.
Absolutely. The KRA PIN numbers, the PIN numbers, if you compare PIN numbers by Kenya Revenue Authority and PIN numbers in the Nairobi County system, there's a difference of over 300 people. So there's a payroll run of over 300 people that goes into private pockets. And you know, Nairobi is even borrowing money from banks without authority of the county assembly.
Of course, those are claims we cannot substantiate at this juncture.
I can substantiate. Right. This is not my words. Okay. This is the Kenya National Audit Report 2015-2016, right, signed by Ouko, not me.
Okay. So, Polycarp, I did mention the three things that concern many Nairobians. We've talked about the issue around the water. Let's talk about garbage management. There's been talk around trying to convert the garbage into energy. We've seen the project hasn't really kicked off. Perhaps what's the main priority around garbage management in the county?
First of all is to change the policy. The policy of garbage collection today is you are paid, the garbage collectors are paid based on the weight of the garbage and the distance they take the garbage to. So usually, because they want to make more money, they wait for the garbage to pile up so that they can be paid more kilos, and then they transport it.
Yeah.
So what we are saying is we need to, you should be paid on the frequency of picking and cleanliness. So it's just a change in policy. Stop these extraction calculus and go into service calculus. That's calculus of service to the public, not the calculus of money to few business people. Number two, we will bring in technology, and there are people waiting in the wings. Foreign direct investment that has been waiting in the wings from Germany, from Japan, from China, from Europe, to come and help us create energy from the methane in Dandora dump site. Dandora dump site, as you know, is now, we can use that dump site and really create it to be a world standard solid waste management system where you generate electricity. And the whole of Eastlands can be powered by the garbage you generate in Nairobi. We generate close to 2,400 tons per day. But the way we are collecting it is very bad. And we can create, just like we can learn from Buenos Aires in Argentina, where they use the people we today call street children and unemployed people. We give them specific streets. They collect that garbage, they earn an income, and they are the owners of those streets. And then there are trucks that come to offtake that garbage and then take it to the factory. We will leave no one behind. The problem that has happened is today Nairobi is a tale of two cities. The city north of the highway called Uhuru Highway, and maybe the city south, let me call it either north and south or east and west. We need to make sure that we leave no one behind. And another thing, even when you look at the issue of traffic, 48% or 50% of Nairobi walks to work. But when you look at our walkways, when you are walking to work, you find a lot of manholes. In fact, very close to this studio, you saw a bad accident of a car not too long ago.
Yeah, far off a bit.
What does it take? What does it take to pave Nairobi? We want to pave Nairobi properly, so you don't ever need to polish your shoe if you live in the city of Nairobi. And the soil that used to go and clog drainages, so as we pave it, we'll create drainage gangs. We will then light those streets. We will then CCTV those streets. We will then make sure that the people who have paved will also be the people who provide security in those streets. And those people will be young, because 76% of Nairobi is below the age of 30.
All right.
1 in 3 people in Nairobi is below the age of 30, and those are our voters. Actually, the traffic problem in Nairobi is not caused by matatus. Do you know that? It is not caused by matatus. It is caused by private cars. The people with the least private cars are the biggest problem in the equation.
But the private car owners have resorted to that for the mere fact that public transport is not reliable.
And here is what we are going to do. We are looking at rapid bus transit lanes.
It has been tried before, Polycarp.
We are looking at park and ride stations. There was no commitment to it. There was really no political and managerial commitment behind these things. The last time we had a committed person in the city of Nairobi, I must say, it must be Mr. Gakuo and the late Minister Njoroge Mishuki. Perhaps those were the people who last time tried to do something meaningful. And did they meet resistance? Yes. Did they win? Yes, they won. So it's not going to be easy. But between me and Governor Sonko, who is my boss, and our political system. Hopefully, I wish them well that they win. They have, all of us, each one of us has to solicit for their own votes on their own way.
Sure.
We really need to fix this. And not just the Jubilee Party, even our competitors. We are going to work together because our county assembly will have both government side and opposition side.
Correct.
We have to work. Nairobi is the sitting room of Kenya. Nairobi si mashambani. We have to work together to serve every resident of Nairobi, because that's why we are canvassing for votes everywhere today.
All right. So, Polycarp, just closing thoughts.
Sure.
Right now, many people would want to have a better life in Nairobi, being the epicenter of the country. I've seen a number of capitals in Africa, the likes of South Africa, Ghana, and Angola, lead by example. Small initiatives like people cycling to work, safe and secure streets. I mean, what is that one thing that you will achieve in the first 100 days in office?
I think number one, we will make sure that we begin the work of paving Nairobi, of lighting Nairobi, yeah? Of reducing the water loss in Nairobi, of ensuring that we reduce the usage of pit latrines, which is 50% in Nairobi. People are on long drops, as opposed to flush toilets. We will then make sure that we have congruence in our politics, that there is unity in Nairobi, that all the tribal feel and ethnic division, and the division by ethnicity, division by class, division by identity starts to stop. We all look at our city as a sitting room of our great nation.
All right.
Yes, and last but not least, to invite everybody to vote peacefully, irrespective of who you support. So vote according to the policy people want, because on 9th and 10th of August, we shall be Kenyans. We should not embarrass the nationalist covenant. Thank you.
Many thanks, Polycarp Igathe.
Thank you, Agina. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana.
Wishing you all the best. And that has been an interesting conversation with the aspiring Deputy Governor for Nairobi County, Polycarp Igathe, just tabling their economic agenda for the great county of Nairobi. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we still have a lot lined